Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. My name is Krista. I just filmed about 15 minutes worth of video and realized I did not have my microphone on. I am just getting home from a very long day working outside of the house. I'm exhausted and I'm starving. So clearly that is why I did not turn my microphone on. So I'm gonna redo all of this with you guys. This is the first time you're seeing this, and this is the second time that I'm repeating it. I'm just in my garage grabbing some peppers, and I'm just gonna see if I actually need anything else in here. I'll clue you in when we get inside what we're actually doing in the garage. Oh right, corn. Let's say hi to the chickies. Hi chickies. It's nighttime, so they're very tired. Okay, so what are we doing today? So I just got home from a really long day, and I am gonna make some supper, and I thought I would turn the camera on and bring you guys with me while I'm making one of my pantry meals tonight. Tonight's recipe is actually gonna be a new recipe to me. I went thrift shopping maybe about 2 weeks ago, and I found this cookbook. I am so excited I found this cookbook. I've actually had this cookbook on my Amazon wish list for a very long time because I follow this girl on Instagram and I love what she does with food. She is a zero waste, not a chef, but that is kind of what she does in her kitchen, is it's a zero waste. And this cookbook is filled with amazing things. Now she is a vegan, so this is a vegan cookbook, but I've actually made one recipe out of this cookbook so far. It is a kale Brussels sprout salad. It was so good. My husband, Steven, who hates Brussels sprouts, like detests them, loves that salad. If I can make a salad that will convert a kind of a Brussels sprout hater into loving them, you know it's a good cookbook. So we're gonna make a couple recipes out of there tonight. I'm not wanting to make a really big meal tonight. I kind of want something hearty, but quick to make. So we are gonna make a smoky corn cob chowder. This looks really easy, and it does say that if you have leftovers, you can actually store them in your freezer. So win-win. So what I was doing previously was I was getting some broth. Now because she is vegan, all of her stuff is going to be very plant-based in here, but I'm gonna tweak it just to kind of make it my style. So we're going to use a smoky bone broth. This is a bone broth that I actually made with a whole bunch of bones from meat that we smoked, and I made a broth with it, and it is just amazing. So we're gonna use that broth in it because it's called a smoky corn cob chowder. So let's use everything smoky. So the other thing that I grabbed was some potatoes. It calls for Yukon Gold potatoes, but we're gonna use russet potatoes because that's what we have. It also calls for a jalapeno. I don't have fresh jalapeno, but I have a whole bunch of jalapeno in my freezer. When my daughter was here last week, she took home a whole bunch of my canned goods, which honestly made my canning heart very happy. She's like, Mom, I'm gonna take all of this stuff, and she's like, is that okay? And I'm like, go ahead. I literally make that stuff for the kids. So she took my last pepper jelly jar home because she fell in love with it, and Steven also loves it, so we went through it really quickly. So now I have no pepper jelly left, but we have this huge bag of jalapenos. So I'm probably next week actually gonna make some pepper jelly again, because I don't know if you can see, this is starting to get freezer burned. So we need to use that up. I'll leave that video linked for you guys, just showing you how I made that pepper jelly. It is so good. So we went into the freezer because it is a corn on the cob chowder, so we need some corn. Now, I was going to use canned corn, but this recipe calls for 4 cups of it, and my cans don't have 4 cups in it, so we're gonna use some frozen stuff. It actually recommends using frozen in this recipe, so that's perfect. And then it also calls for some bell pepper, some red bell pepper, but I don't have, like, these are my bell peppers that I have. This is how I preserve my peppers, is I just chop them up, throw them in the freezer. So we're gonna use a mixture of yellow and red, and I think there's even some orange in there also. The recipe says that you can use pickle juice, apple scrap vinegar, which she has a recipe for in here, or you can use store-bought apple cider. I got a can of my garlic pickles here, so we'll just use some of that juice. We got some smoked paprika out, and we need an onion. And then what else do we need? We need some milk also, but we'll get that out last. And I think that's it. Oh, she also calls for chives to top it with, but we have some dried chives. I don't have any fresh stuff, so we'll just put some dried chives on top of it. We'll get out a big pot. Oh, the other thing we need is garlic. How could I forget garlic? I have two different kinds of chopped garlic in here. I have these little cubes that I chopped up and then put in this like silicone cube tray and then froze them. Or I have these like clusters. We'll use the cluster because I love garlic, and I am such a firm believer on you can never have enough garlic. Okay, so let's get chopping. Oh, and the other fun thing that I mentioned we were gonna make out of this same cookbook tonight, because not only am I starving, but I'm also craving something chocolatey. So we are going to make some hot chocolate cookies out of this cookbook as well. But we'll do that once this soup is starting to cook, and then we can kind of do that while the soup is simmering away. We need to get this corn thawing. So I am going to put it in a glass bowl and put it in the microwave and get that thawed. This should be about 4 cups. I'm not gonna measure it. Put the frozen stuff in here. Whoop. Break it up a bit. I'm gonna add some water to this. And we'll get it put in the microwave. Good guys, we're not using plastic in the microwave. Improvements are being made. Yay! If you watch my other videos, I always complain about microwaving stuff in my Tupperware plastic container, which I know is horrible, but we're moving up to glass. Still using microwave, but we're moving up with glass. Our jalapenos are already chopped, our garlic's already chopped, so the only thing we need to get chopped up is our onion, bell pepper, and we need to get these peeled and chopped also. Oh, I need to get my scrap bag. I always save all of my veggie scraps, like my carrot peelings, my like onion ends, celery, anything like that could go into a stock. I just save it. And then when it comes time to make my broths, that's what I use to flavor them. I'm not going to be too particular about making sure this onion is really, really chopped up, because this recipe actually you use an immersion blender with it. So we don't have to be too picky with getting them finely chopped. Yes, I am using a knife to stir the corn because it's still frozen and I just want to get the clumps out. Get it put in a bowl. So it calls for 1 bell pepper. We'll use about that. Okay, corn is done. We'll get that drained in a minute. That's good. We'll just do a nice light rough chop on those. And they're still frozen. Then we'll get these potatoes peeled and chopped up. So a while ago, I made a video showing you guys how to make some really delicious sugar-free treats. And in that video, I actually referenced somebody that I had seen on Instagram that said you can save the date pits and make a coffee with it. This is the cookbook where she actually shows you how to do that. So I was excited to have that recipe. So I need to find a recipe where I can use dates in it, because I need a lot more date pits in order to make this date pit coffee, but it looks really, really delicious. And I'm thinking if you put some like cocoa nibs with it, like these, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Where are they? These are cocoa nibs. I'm thinking if you put some of these in with that coffee, it would be like a mocha. My imagination tends to be a little bit better when I'm starving. I can think of all of these things to make. Get these peelings put in my compost. We'll get these potatoes cubed up. So she says you can use 1 to 2 tablespoons of water in this to saute the vegetables. We're just going to use some tallow. You could use oil as well, but pantry challenge, I am trying to use up this tallow because oil is expensive and I have a whole bunch of tallow. Because we just picked up our cow, I think we got it 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I have a whole bunch of fat that I actually need to turn into tallow. So I need to get using this so I can make some more. Okay, that should be good. It says 1 to 2 tablespoons. I think we just put in about 2 tablespoons. I ran into a thrift store today and I found this really, really cool game. I don't know what it is. It's called Rate Your Mate. It looks really, really old and it was only 59 cents. So I thought it would be fun. It says an exciting new game of kiss and tell fun for all couples of all ages. Now I did get this at a Christian thrift store, so I highly doubt it's going to be inappropriate. I don't think it's going to be R-rated. At least I hope it's not going to be. Okay, our tallow is popping. So let's get our peppers in, get our onions, get our jalapenos, and our garlic. We're gonna get those sauteing, and now I'm really curious to see what's involved with this game. It's all taped shut, so let's see. Man, they taped this thing good. It is sealed up. Every single angle of this has got some type of tape on it. I'm guessing a 5-year-old got a hold of a tape gun and taped this. If you have kids, you know what I mean. Tape and children. You can never have tape around kids. Okay, let's see what some of these cards say. When you're driving on the highway, your mate usually drives the speed limit, is question A, B, 0 to 10 miles above the speed limit, or C, more than 10 miles above the speed limit. A quiz that asks 250 questions about your mate or relationship. And then I guess your mate usually answers this, or your partner will answer the question. I will not say what I drive because... Okay, so those are pretty softened. It says about 5 minutes or until softened, and they definitely are softened. So we're gonna add our corn. It says about 4 cups of corn. And then we'll add our potatoes. And again, I used 3 russet potatoes. And then we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of pickle juice. You can use apple cider vinegar in this if you prefer. I love pickle juice, so we will use that. And then we'll use 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. You can use regular paprika in this, but I would highly suggest smoked. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then we will start with 1/2 teaspoon, a little bit over 1/2 teaspoon of salt. It says more if needed. I actually normally make my broth unsalted. I believe I did salt this, so we might have some salt already in that broth. So I'm gonna add just the 1/2 teaspoon of salt in this, and then we'll see if we need to add any more once we get the broth in here. I am just stirring this up. It already smells amazing. Like that smoked paprika in here, combined with the onions and the corn and the garlic. It smells really, really good. We're just gonna saute this for about 5 minutes, just until the potatoes kind of soften just a little bit, and then we'll add our milk and our broth. All right, this is starting to stick to the bottom, so I'm gonna add the broth. It says to add 4 cups of a vegetable broth. I'm gonna add the smoky broth. I'm gonna add 1/4 of it, and if we need to add a little bit more, we can top it up. And then she suggests using 1 cup of an oat milk in this. I'm going to use just a whole milk. She is suggesting a plant-based milk because she is dairy-free, but we're not, so we're going to use a whole milk. Okay, so we need to bring this to a boil. So I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. There's no meat in this, so I'm safe to check it. I'm going to just give it a taste test and see if we need any more salt. Wow, that is delicious. I think what I'm gonna do is actually add just a touch bit of water in here because there wasn't quite 4 cups in here, so I'm gonna top it up with a little bit. We'll add a little bit more water, and I'm gonna come in and just add a touch bit more salt, probably about maybe another half a cup. That would be way too much salt. 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, so let's wait for that to boil. And we'll get our cookies started. She also has an Earl Grey tea cake in here, which is on my make list. It's one of the ones I have dog-eared. Okay, hot chocolate cookies. What do we need to do? We need to preheat the oven to 375. When I was making those cereal bars, I'd mentioned that I had some coconut sugar that I had to get used. We're gonna use it in this recipe. At least I think we are. Where is it? Yes, I found it. This is starting to boil, so I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, And I think she says to simmer it uncovered, but I can't remember. Simmer uncovered for about 20 minutes until the potatoes are cooked. And then we got to use an immersion blender. So turn this down. Set my timer for 20 minutes. We'll get the immersion blender out also, get that prepared. Alrighty, we got everything out for the cookies. So she says to get 2 bowls out. So we have a big bowl and a small bowl, and we'll save the big bowl for the wet ingredients. For the dry ingredients, we're gonna use 1 cup of an unbleached all-purpose flour. She says you can also use a gluten-free flour in this as well, or an oat flour. And then we need 2/3 of cocoa powder. I'm just using a cacao powder. It's a more, I guess, raw, I think that's what they call it, more raw form of cocoa powder. It's a tad bit more healthier for you, but you could use cocoa powder also. Next up, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of coconut sugar. This stuff is like rock hard. You can use brown sugar as well. She said you can use a light or dark brown sugar in this, but I need to use this coconut sugar that is like a rock because it's probably not good anymore. Making a big mess. There we go, 1/2 cup. I'm gonna actually just give this soup a quick stir. Okay, so the next ingredient, it's very weird, but I'm gonna trust it. Cayenne pepper. She says to put in 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. She also said it is optional to do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I don't know, should we put in a whole 1/4 teaspoon? Seems like a lot. Let's just do it. We'll live on the edge. We're living on the edge. 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper, and then 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, let's stir this together. Second bowl, we need 1/2 cup of milk. Again, she does say to use a plant-based milk in this. Then we need 1/2 cup of runny peanut butter. Let's clean that spoon off a bit. I'm just gonna give this a stir. The oil tends to come to the top of it. 1/2 cup. And then we need a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I might have to go and get another thing. Yeah, I don't have quite a 1/4 cup. Just a touch bit more. Righty, this one also seems very weird to me. It says 1 tablespoon of miso paste. A lot of weird things in here. But we're gonna add it and we're gonna trust it because so far all of these recipes out of this cookbook have been amazing. So we'll add the tablespoon of miso paste. Okay, and then we're gonna add a teaspoon of homemade vanilla. I don't measure vanilla, I just kind of pour with my heart. And let's stir this together. The one really nice thing about making vegan desserts or vegan recipes is it doesn't use eggs. And from what I've been seeing, eggs are insanely expensive right now. So this is a really good recipe if you don't have any eggs. I also have another really, really delicious recipe, which I might end up making this week. It is for a chocolate raspberry muffin. It is so delicious and it doesn't use any eggs because it was originally a vegan recipe. I have tweaked it a little bit to make it suit my needs, but I can definitely make it vegan again and I can show you guys. I have a whole bunch of eggless recipes that are really, really good because again, I used to be vegan. Just trying to get this all kind of combined. Chocolate chunks or some peanut butter chunks in here. Okay, so let's add the dry ingredients in here. And we'll just stir to combine using the world's smallest spoon also. Not sure why I grabbed that spoon. This kind of reminds me of a brownie batter. It says to stir until a dough is formed. It's definitely like a brownie batter. Coconut sugar chunks in here. I should have really sifted the dry ingredients because of the coconut sugar, but that's okay. Who doesn't want a huge clump of coconut sugar in their bite? Okay, that's pretty combined. You need 1/2 cup of chopped chocolate. I'm just gonna use some of this stuff. That should be good. It's just dark chocolate. You could use chocolate chips also in this if you don't have chocolate. This is under 1/2 cup, but that's fine. We'll Add the chocolate in. Pretty sure this is gonna satisfy my chocolate craving. It is a lot of chocolate. Okay, so because there's no eggs in this, not that that usually stops me, let's try the batter and see what it tastes like. Try a little bit of the batter. This is good. This is really good. Okay, after last week's video, my epic fail of a recipe, it feels good to be making something that's actually turning out. I actually, probably because I'm starving, will eat this whole bowl of cookie batter, but we're gonna actually make the cookies. She says to scoop a 1/4 cup ball dough, a 1/4 cup of cookie dough to make one cookie. That's a lot. I'm not gonna do a 1/4 cup because that seems a little crazy to me. Trusting the recipe and all, but a 1/4 cup, maybe that is normal. That's okay. All right, I lied. I jumped the gun a little bit there. 1/4 cup is normal. So we got a lined cookie sheet here, and we'll just put the cookie batter down. And again, we have our oven preheated to 375. It says leave 1 inch apart from the cookies. I need to take a picture of this and send it to my daughter because she wanted to make these cookies. I think she actually took a picture of the recipe, and she's gonna try to make them when she gets home. I need to take a picture and send it to her. It says 6 cookies per pan, so we have too many on here. It says using your hand, squish them down to a 1/4 inch. These are not all the same size. Let's get these put in the oven. I'm gonna put these in for 13 minutes and then check them. Whoop, that's 30 minutes. That would have been a little too long. Our soup actually dings, so we need to get this blending, which is perfect. We can do that while the cookies are in the oven. I'm just gonna get the rest of the cookies on here first. It says to blend half of it, so you can take half of it out and then just blend this, but we're just gonna blend it all together. Here's what the soup looks like. I didn't really immersion blend it to the point of being like too creamy. I definitely left some chunks in there because I think I'll enjoy it more that way. So we have 4 minutes left on those cookies. I'm just gonna do a little taste test here with you guys to try this soup out and see what it's like. So she says to top it with fresh chives, but we're gonna top it with these dried chives because I don't have fresh. Let's take a picture of that also to send it to my daughter because I believe that's another one she wanted to make as well. Okay, let's give this a try. Excited. This is good. I cannot recommend that cookbook enough. I'm going to leave it linked for you guys below. If I can find her recipes online, I will leave the recipe linked for you. But if not, I will just leave the cookbook linked for you guys. This has like a smoky taste to it. You could even add some chopped bacon on top of this. It would be delicious, delicious. The other fun thing she has in that cookbook, which I'm really debating trying, she makes bacon out of banana peels. Banana peels. She tries to make bacon. I'm like, that sounds too good not to try it. So definitely recommend that cookbook. Alrighty, let's wait for the cookies now. Once the cookies come out, it says they have to wait for 15 minutes on the cookie sheet before you can take them off. It does say that they will be a little bit soft also. The oven tends to cook a little bit weird though, so I don't know if they're gonna be like the soft they're supposed to be or like the undercut soft that usually comes out of my oven. I don't know. We got 2 minutes left. Okay, timer went off. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna take this off the heat. That does not need, the element's already off, but this stays hot for a while. Okay. They look about the same as they did when they went in, but they're cooked. So we have to leave them for 15 minutes on here. We'll get these ones in. While we wait for the 15 minutes for those cookies, because I want to do a taste test with you guys, I'm going to get my drink ready for tonight. What I love doing is taking some of this simple syrup that I made. So this stuff is the peach simple syrup. And I love taking just some plain sparkling water. And I just take probably about 2 tablespoons of this and mix it with a whole can of this. And it tastes exactly like a peach soda. It's delicious. I have a strawberry simple syrup and I have a pineapple one as well. And they all taste amazing this way. We're gonna give one of these cookies a try. That's what they, let's see if it'll focus on that and not me. That's what they, I'll get out of the frame. That's what they look like. Let's try them. And yes, I am eating a cookie before I eat my full dinner. They're really, really good. They're actually not overly sweet. And they're just like a, because I use dark chocolate. Oh, they're really chocolatey and it's awesome. You can't even taste the cayenne pepper in that, but I think the cayenne helps bring that chocolate taste out. And you definitely can't taste the miso paste. These are really, really delicious. They're really good warm too. I just had one bite. I'm gonna save the rest to have for dessert. I'm gonna go and eat my chowder now. So thank you guys so much for coming along with me while I made my supper tonight. Quick and easy supper. It was done in under 30 minutes for both cookies and for this soup. So that is a really, really awesome meal to make if you're running short on time and just starving when you walk in the door like I was. So thanks again guys for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a great day or night whenever you're watching this and I will see you on the next video. And I'm hoping I don't have chocolate in my teeth. Bye guys.